Last summer, in late July, I was reading the weekend edition of the Wall Street Journal, as any good public finance professional would. And there was an article titled, "The Nicest City in America." A long weekend in Minneapolis packed with Swedish sandwiches, oversized art, peaceful lakes, mid-century memorabilia, and a side of the legendary local hospitality. Once again, the Wall Street Journal was informative and correct. This is a wonderful city and is certainly a peaceful part of this great nation. I hope that you've had and will have an opportunity to spend some time exploring this lovely city. I also hope you're enjoying another great conference organized by the staff of GFOA. It's been an honor for me to serve as president of the Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada this past year. I'd like to extend a special thank you to my colleagues on the executive board and to the incredible GFOA staff led by Jeff Esser and the center directors. I also want to recognize my wife, Deborah, my three wonderful sons, Alexander, Michael, and Nicholas, for their understanding and support and encouragement throughout my time as president. Finally, I want to acknowledge my colleagues at Montgomery County and express to them my sincere appreciation for the support they provided so that I was able to actively participate in GFOA. They all certainly made my job as president a lot easier. And what a busy year it's been. Just this month, our membership reached the 18,000 level for the first time. And speaking of membership, we have over 110 new members as a result of our first-time annual conference attendee scholarship program. This program promotes the government finance profession by making available 50 scholarships per state or province in the amount of the full conference registration fee to first-time conference attendees. So, welcome first-time attendees, and we look forward to seeing you for your second time next year. In another first, our Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting program, which has been in operation since 1946, passed the 4,000 submissions level. The city of Ketchikan, Alaska was number 4,000. This is especially noteworthy since Ketchikan has been receiving the award since 1971. Congratulations to the city of Ketchikan. To assure that we continue to serve you, our membership, effectively, the Executive Board, with the support of GFOA staff, updated the membership survey and then used that information and other changes going on in our environment to update our strategic plan. Here's what we found out about you from the survey. You most likely work in a city government. You have between 10,000 and 50,000 residents living in your city. You are a chief financial officer. You have a CPA and an MBA, and you are most likely female. On that last one, I offer my congratulations to the Women's Network on your success with recruiting women to the profession. We also learned that you depend on GFOA for our best practices, for keeping you updated on current events in finance, and for the legislative and regulatory information we provide about the federal government. You told us your biggest challenges in your job are with expenditure growth outpacing revenue growth, that you are having difficulties retaining and attracting qualified employees, and you are dealing with significant regulatory and reporting requirements. We also discovered that many of you use social media at home, but not at work. 60% of you use Facebook at home, but only 10% of you use it at the office. And only 5% of you use Twitter, which explains why only 3 of you sent me a tweet last year after I gave you an assignment at the business meeting to send a tweet using #IamGFOA and tell everyone how you participated in making GFOA a better organization. So we have a lot of work to do to incorporate social media into the workplace. This spring, after considering the survey results, the board updated the organization's strategic plan to reflect the changing characteristics of our membership, while at the same time preserving the things you told us GFOA does well. You told us you rely on our best practices, so the strategic plan offers a renewed emphasis on perfecting our best practices and on making them more accessible. You told us you have difficulties retaining and attracting qualified employees, so the plan provides more tools to address the challenges of succession planning and talent recruitment. And to address the needs of our next generation, the plan includes more ways to promote government finance as a profession. I believe the updated plan will serve the organization well as we deal with our responsibilities in the years to come. And speaking of responsibilities, you have a lot of them. Whenever I'm in a room like this one that's filled with public finance professionals, I like to take the opportunity to say thank you for the work you do managing state and local finances. It's a challenging and important job that you do, and it does carry with it tremendous responsibility. So how important is your job as a public finance professional? Last fall, during one of my visits to state associations, I attended the Florida GFOA conference. There, I made my usual comments and updated participants about what was going on at GFOA. Afterwards, a good friend of GFOA and former executive board member, Bob Inzer, who is the elected clerk of court for Leon County, Florida, approached me with some advice and a suggestion. He said, take this opportunity as you travel around the country meeting finance professionals to tell them how important their job is, especially as it relates to making democracy work. Well, I must say that I'm sure like most of you, I hadn't really given any thought to how important my role is to the success of a democratic society. But it's a good question. So Bob, wherever you are, here goes. In a democratic society, great importance is placed on information, accountability, and trust. As a finance professional working in the public arena, you play a critical role in providing reliable information, assuring accountability, and creating the trust necessary for a citizen-engaged environment. A major part of your job is to communicate and inform. You do this with your budget documents, your financial statements, and your audit reports. Thomas Jefferson observed that information is the currency of democracy. He noted that a free and fair marketplace of ideas forms the foundations and framework for civic discourse. People sharing information and ideas are investing their ideas and information to build a better community. The more that people can speak and be heard in the process of public deliberation, the greater value our political economy will have. You have a major role in facilitating what Jefferson calls the sharing of information and ideas. And as you know, in our electronic age, this can be challenging as technology has fundamentally transformed how our governments conduct business in this increasingly mobile, competitive, and information-intensive environment. In my county, we recently initiated a program called Open Montgomery. This initiative comprises 4 major programs. Data Montgomery, which provides direct access to the county's data sets over the internet. Mobile Montgomery, which makes data and communications channels available on mobile devices so residents may consume at their choice of time, place, and platform. Access Montgomery, which utilizes the county's extensive web services and information channels to disseminate information to a highly mobile constituency. And Engage Montgomery, which is designed to leverage a number of social media and social engagement platforms to involve the county's residents in participatory government. I encourage you to take a look at this comprehensive approach to what Jefferson called the sharing of information and ideas to build a better community. Accountability. Accountability for public finances is also at the heart of the democratic process. There is perhaps no issue that galvanizes the interest of our citizens more than knowing how much they will be taxed and what use was made of their contributions. Finance officials who engage their residents and partner with them in all aspects of financial programming and policymaking will enhance, in very significant ways, governmental accountability. And democracy depends upon trust. Your role is to strengthen democracy by providing the information and accountability that helps create trust in the government. You create that trust by accounting for the ways public resources are rationed or allocated, how monies are actually used, and whether the expected results are achieved. Your job is to provide reliable information that your community depends on to hold your governments and officials accountable. Your residents and constituents look to you to propose a budget and fiscal plan that they can be a part of and have input in. Your investors expect you to keep them informed about the fiscal condition of your communities. It's important that you recognize that and make sure that all of your deeds and actions continue to build on that trust. Because once lost, trust is hard to recapture. And lately, we've seen examples of local governments losing that trust. We can all learn from what went wrong in places like Harrisburg, Stockton, Jefferson County, and Detroit. The main lesson is that your community is relying on you as a finance professional to make sure that when you're at the table when financial decisions are made, that your opinion is counted. And when you are at the table, you have an obligation to say, hold on, that doesn't work. Or we need to hire professional help, like an actuary to cost that out, or a financial advisor to give us an independent opinion before we do that. It's not easy, and those are big responsibilities. But your community is counting on you. And remember, you're not alone. The Government Finance Officers Association is here to help. Thank you again for the wonderful opportunity to serve you as your president.